1 hour of 5-Yard Rush, one of the best podcasts on NFL football in the UK.
What is happening, Rush Nation? We are back, and we're back with a Scott Fishbowl 15 scoring examined. Yesterday I dropped the Orkney Bowl. Today I'm going to drop Scott Fishbowl, and then Friday I'm going to drop JTT Cup scoring. Now, this year's scoring with the SFB in some ways is a little bit more calm, in some ways is a little bit more nuts. Now, we know Scott and the team there do come up with some absolutely crazy scoring when it comes to the Scott Fishbowl for sure. And there are a lot of elements to the scoring that you really have to break down and analyze. However, we do seem to have a bit less craziness this year than we had sort of in the last few years. We don't have punt returns. We don't have lots of extra kickers and kicker scoring. We don't have lots of sort of really sort of random and weird and wonderful rules. We have just a sort of a general scoring review, and it is tricky and it's definitely not easy. But having said that, it is interesting to see how the scoring breaks down. So I was able to do most of this in my projection sheet, which is great, and then just had to add the first down. So in terms of this, it's 6 point per touchdown for QBs with no points for interceptions or pick sixes, no completion bonuses like done previously. Rushing is a 0.5 point per attempt. That's going to be really crucial to the scoring. And 1 point per first down for rushing. And then for receptions, it's 2.5 points received for a reception, 6 points per touchdown, 1 point per first down. And then tight ends get an additional 1 point premium. The last part to this is there is an IDP scoring, which we're going to call the Travis Hunter rule, which applies to just Travis Hunter. It doesn't apply to anyone else, really, because there isn't going to be anyone else that's going to be playing defense significantly. So these projections here are going to cover everything. Now, the only thing that was bespoke, that was out of my normal custom sheet, and I'm just doing the zoom as we're doing this, is first downs. So I've got my starting number here, projected number, and then I've got my first downs. So I used a blend of the first down numbers from last year mixed in with just some modeling as to where I thought the offense would be to get these kind of numbers. Now, again, you'll see different numbers sort of tallied around and banded around. I don't know who's included what, whether they're going to the level of research. I don't know. This sheet is available to you, and I'll happily sort of share it with you in terms of what the total points will be. You won't be able to see any of the formulas behind this. So when it comes to this, you can see here immediately off the bat, it's running back heavy. Now, I will state this. I have aggressively ranked Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor probably over consensus. Now, these two, for me, I feel like are due comeback years. And I like what they're going to be doing on offense. So I have aggressively ranked them probably over the consensus. But having said that, that should just open up some value here. You probably won't be seeing these in the ADP. In fact, you haven't been seeing these going in the ADP top 3. It's down to you whether you trust my projections or not. I don't really mind either way if you do or if you don't. But this is why I have them ranked there. I'm just being sort of transparent. Derrick Henry gets a big push because of these rushing first down points, which is huge. Then you got Jamar Chase. He obviously is breaking the needle here for wide receivers. If you notice here, what's really interesting is there's no quarterback in the first 10. And yet we're seeing quarterbacks being taken a lot earlier on ADP. It's obviously down to familiarity and comfort of a super flex, but it does show you that you can wait a little bit on quarterback. What I would also say as well is with the position flexibility, you don't need to be pigeonholing yourself to, I must take this amount of wide receivers and this amount of running backs. Just take best player available. So I'm looking at these straight up. You do get these nice bonuses of these two tight ends, but then no tight end appears for quite a while. George Kittle is over 100, well, nearly 200 points behind. Oh, sorry, nearly 100 points behind. So, or over 100 points behind. So, my point on that is that these two are special, and these two should be viewed well above everything else. You're going to have to pay that premium first round tag on them, and because there isn't the position dink on them, it does make it much easier to go tight end in the first round, because you don't need to think, oh well, I'm passing up running back and passing up wide receiver. It does make it much easier from a strategy play to select tight end in the first round. We start to see these QBs start to come in. Again, other players will say I've got aggressively ranked. Alvin Kamara, I've got pretty aggressively ranked. I'd say I'm a bit conservative on GT over consensus. Marion Hampton, I probably have aggressively ranked. Even Baker Mayfield slightly aggressively ranked, but not loads, I don't think. I still have him under what he did last year, so I don't think it's that strong. So, and Mike Evans, I have aggressively ranked. They're kind of the big ones. And maybe guys like later down the pile, Brian Robinson Jr., Michael Pittman, they're the kind of guys I kind of have slightly aggressively ranked over consensus. So when you're looking at mapping this strategy, I definitely think you need to get a QB in the first 2 rounds, but I don't necessarily think you need to go round 1, because you can get a Hurts, you can get a Jaden Daniels, you can get a Baker Mayfield, and you can get a Joe Burrow here in this range pretty easily. In fact, Joe Burrow sort of falls down here. I have him as a bit of a jump to Baker. But yeah, so there's that little bit there, and I definitely think those are the guys you kind of want to be taking. Fields ranks highly because of these other bits, because of these rushing factors, but he is a risk. Same with Bo Nix. Is he going to produce similar output to last year? It's worth sort of being a little cautious on those. So I definitely think you need to take one of the top 6 QBs early. You're going to have to pay up in the first round for these 2, but I think you can get the other 4 in the second round. If you notice, I have Mahomes like way down here. It's not a guy you need to go and reach for. If someone takes him high, let him take him high. He's well down for me on top of other players. So you can ignore the positional value arguments of old and just be selecting best player available. Here, you do have these luxury options of going after. There's lots of wide receiver running backs here that are ranked, and people are going to take running back quickly and often because they score better in this format because of the amount of touches. If we move down the board, so that's a really cluster wide receiver. But my pigeonhole strategy would be in the later rounds almost just punting wide receiver, because you'll just get those off waivers. And just taking a load of running backs. These guys like Sean Tucker, DJ Giddings, Sincere McCormack, guys who aren't going to get Aldrich Estimate. These are guys who aren't going to get a lot of touches unless a lot of things happen. But if they happen, they're going to be valuable. Samaje Perine, Alexander Mattison. These are the kind of guys that can step up into a role, Clyde Battalette, that they can really step up and win you some leagues if they end up getting to be in the starter role. So your strategy really in previous years was load up with wide receivers and let them ascend to the pile. I think the last 6 rounds, you probably need to just go straight running back and fill your running back room. And just if these guys end up walking into a position where they take off, then you're set. Whereas a lot of these wide receivers are very plug and play. They're going to do you a turn, but there's nothing separating. Say, let's find one here. So like a Nick Westbrook-Akeen over like a Noah Brown, a Brandon Cooks, or Gabe Davis. Like none of these guys are real separators or difference makers for you. So a lot of these guys are going to get drafted. But, let's go all the way down to guys who aren't going to get drafted. Calvin Austin III, Devontae Turpin. These guys aren't going to get drafted. And they're only putting up like 40, 50 points less over a season. These guys aren't going to play. So the season stats don't matter. It's just what they do week to week. So if you look at these numbers and think they're almost going to be averaging that a game, because they're not going to be making the box score in a lot of these. It is really interesting to look at and view how they're going to get their points. So yeah, I would be definitely looking at loading up on as many running backs late and stockpiling your running back queue as much as possible. But it's not as important to get a quarterback in round 1 as it has been in previous years of the Scott Fish Bowl. I know it's super flex, but if I just look at the QB scoring, it really does level out. So if I just sit here and I just take the other positions out, it does flatten really quickly. So once you get past Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, 386, 380, 376, 373, 368, 365. This is flat. You're not getting a lot of difference on reaching 3 rounds higher for Lawrence over Matthew Stafford. So you can really wait on that QB2 as long as you get one. Some people are going to push QB2 to get a QB3. That makes sense as well, and it's good to have 3 starting QBs in this format for sure. I think you'll be able to get one off waivers as well and pay up, but they're not as important as they were in previous years. But if you can nail one of these premium 6, then that's kind of your strategy. And if you can get one in the second round, then you're really in good stead doing that. Whereas, as you can see with the running back position here, it does tail. You can see the tiers quite clearly until, again, it falls off a cliff round about Austin Eckler. Then it really starts to fall off a cliff, and then it plateaus. And then again, it's just getting a lot of these guys in this range laid on could be the difference between you advancing to the playoffs and advancing in the playoffs and you not. So there's a lot of value in that. And then as you see with wide receiver, a lot of value up top, big separators with the big 4, big 5 even. And then it really flattens into little tiers. So you can break through this. But you can play with the scoring, come up with your own strategy. That's just how I'm going to be looking and interpreting this over the course of the next few weeks. So I hope you found this useful. I hope this has been a really useful video for you. Please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you've only come to watch this for this channel for this, then thank you. First of all, really appreciate you tuning in and enjoying this show and this short video. But also, please do give us a subscribe. That even if you don't watch any of the other videos, I really hope you do check them out. It just helps us grow and reach content to further fields, and that could be like your little thank you for me putting this sheet together for you. Also, I encourage anyone, if they could donate to charity, that would be really good. Donate to Fantasy Cares or a local charity or anything else, that would be really appreciated. We also have our own fantasy tournament. If you've not signed up to it, I'm going to put the link into this video and you can sign up to that. It's the FFCC. It's in the style of a knockout bracket. We've got some big names in the industry playing, and it's a really fun format. So it's best ball as well. So, draft, set and forget. So you should really enjoy it. So please do sign up to that. And help our cause. That would be absolutely amazing. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope that kind of makes sense. Enjoy the sheet. Please share with me any thoughts. Get in touch with me on the handles below. It'd be really good to talk to you and meet you. And that's the whole point of the Scott Fish Bowl for me, is meeting great folks and sharing stories with them. So thank you very much for checking out this video. Check out our other content here on YouTube and all other places at 5 Yard Rush. Until then, Rush Nation, don't forget, as always, keep rushing.